And as we await for Aaron Rodgers, there is some other stuff that caught my attention. I wanted to get into the NBA and LeBron James, because there is a rule, and the rule is you can't go more than, I think it's an hour and a half without mentioning LeBron's name.
LeBron James.
Or we're going to end up in radio
with you.
jail.
Like Brady retired, and then at some point LeBron will retire, and then maybe we can get back to some normalcy.
Yeah, there's an alert, actually, that we get buzzed if we don't mention LeBron's name after like an hour and a half. We go 90 minutes without LeBron, and we get in some trouble. So he made a bunch of waves. You were at the All-Star game, Rob. He made a bunch of waves over the All-Star break. He talked to the Athletic and is openly flirting with going back to play in Cleveland for the third time. And he also admitted that he's interested in playing with his son. This is what I've heard for years, that the plan was he's going to keep playing until Bronny is in the NBA, no matter where Bronny James end up. So you can imagine LeBron James wearing a Sacramento Kings uniform, an Oklahoma City Thunder uniform, like the most outrageous, it doesn't fit. Pistons, you name it, anything. Joel's all excited, our engineer. He's all excited about that. But literally anywhere in the NBA. And the other thing that I learned, which I was blown away by, is that Bronny James is, even though he's the spawn of LeBron, is not thought of as a first-round pick in the NBA. He's projected as a second-round pick. Well, there's no way he goes in the second round. He's going to be drafted in the first round because.
Oh, I don't think it's automatic. They say, and Chris Bouchard was sharing this the other day, and said he's ranked 34th in his junior class. Not like 34th of all the players in the country, or doesn't matter the age or class or whatever. 34th amongst juniors.
Yeah,
that's not an automatic first-round pick, even being LeBron James's kid. He's only 6'3" now, unless he grows, Ben, the next couple of years. But right now, he's 6'3". He's not a big guy.
Yeah.
So
I will bet you right now, chicken wings or burgers,
let's do it.
Whatever you want. He is drafted in the first round. Not a lottery pick, but at the end of the first round, because the name James and knowing you're getting a package deal. If you're drafting 27th in the first round and you're going to draft somebody who might not make it, and you're going to draft another guy who might not make it, and the guy that has the name James at the end is cha-ching, 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 he's going to be drafted higher than he should be. I say he does end up in the first round.
Okay.
Because it's a package deal.
It's done. And if I was a team president, GM, or owner, I would stay clear of the James gang. I just would. Because you have a chance of alienating other teammates, especially if the kid isn't great on his own. It would be one thing when Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey played in Seattle. Jr. was a star. So his dad being an add-on as a bench player and a left-handed bat off the bench, that's a layup. That's easy to do. But if you're telling me that Bronny isn't that good, and he's going to come, and now he's not playing. Now you got to deal with LeBron, and if you're playing him because he's got the right last name, then you got the rest of the team saying, well, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. Dude, it could be a headache if Bronny's not a star in his own right. If you're just doing it, people aren't going to buy tickets to watch Bronny sit on the bench.
Well, they will buy tickets to LeBron. They'll buy tickets to watch LeBron at age 40-something. Yes, it doesn't matter. Michael Jordan was playing at the end when he retired, then he came back with the Washington Bullets, and then I guess they became the Wizards when he was there or whatever. But he was in Washington, and he played there, and he was kind of long in the tooth.
How many playoffs did they make in those 2 years? I'll wait.
But how many tickets did they sell? I remember when Washington came in, it was a big deal.
Year 22.
I agree with you, but think of it from a business standpoint. If you are Oklahoma City, you're a bunch of nobodies, and you get Bronny James with one of these million first-round picks. Let's just do hypothetical, and then you add LeBron onto that. And suddenly you're on TNT every week. You're on the ESPN. You're on all the big networks for games of the week because you have those guys on the team. You're no longer marginalized as a nobody, and that has some cachet.
That doesn't work if he can't play. That's all I'm saying. If he's a star in his own right, then you're right. Then they'll be knocking down the door to make it happen. I'm just saying at this point, he isn't that guy where people are salivating like, I can't wait to draft Bronny. I mean, LeBron has put this out there on All-Star Weekend in Cleveland because he's trying to boost up his kid's chances. He knows where his kid is. This is a ploy. You're buying into it.
Well, yes, because I believe it's going to work.
You wouldn't have to sell that.
I don't think you're wrong.
Why would you have
I don't
to
think
sell
you're
that?
wrong, Rob. I don't think you're wrong, but I believe it will work. I believe this is absolutely the way big business, and this is all big business.
This is how Lonzo
sports.
Ball became the second pick of the NBA draft. If they redid that draft, and that doesn't mean that Lonzo, there's no place for him in the league, but he wasn't the second pick. His dad talked up a big game, right? Tricked Magic Johnson and the Lakers into taking him number 2 because they were afraid that if they didn't take him and this guy was making such a stink about his kid, they would look terrible if he did become that star. And did it work in L.A.? Remember? Oh, his jersey's going to be in the rafters next to mine. Magic, do you remember all that?
Oh, I do. Listen, but that's what the draft. Listen, I'm anti-draft, Rob. I have done a 180. When I was younger, I loved all drafts.
I looked
forward to
guy. No? Okay, no.
Yeah, well, the military draft. But no, the exaggeration that takes place, the weasel word. It's like every year these guys are all compared to legends of the game and all that stuff. And at some point, I finally reached my breaking point. I was like, nah. I'm out of this. I mean, I still pay attention to the draft because we have to because of our jobs and stuff, but I don't buy 99% of the puffery about draft picks. But I do buy the fact that it's show business and that theatrics are part of it. And, hey, I loved LeVar Ball when he was doing his thing a couple years ago. We haven't heard from him much at all, right? He's not gotten a lot of attention the last
No, not at all. Let his kids play, you know what I mean? And that's all you need to do. He did a great job as a dad to get 3 of them college scholarships, and 2 of the kids are in the NBA.
Yeah. No, but I thought he was great when he was doing all the media stuff. I thought, he had big
it was
hot
good for a while,
and,
but it got tired that he's better than Michael Jordan and Lonzo's better than Michael Jordan. Like, how many times can you say that before you go, okay?
Oh, I love a good loudmouth. He was out there, and he was overstating things, but I enjoyed his overstatements. I did. And now, as far as LeBron, there's some other things here. Everything related to what happened over the All-Star break, which is still going on here. When are they getting back to play? Is tomorrow they're going to get back and play tomorrow in the NBA?
Yeah. It's a long break. I was in Cleveland for the weekend. It was pretty amazing. And the one thing that I did notice, Ben, and I don't know how much of it you saw, but it was LeBron's in Cleveland, right? He's from Akron. He's the local native son.
Yeah.
And he's talking about coming back to Cleveland maybe and all the other stuff that went on. And he did win that city its first championship in 52 years. So he got a lot of equity in that place. Who got the biggest applause and ovation when push came to shove? It was MJ. It was Jordan. It was not LeBron. Contrary to his belief that he's the greatest player who ever played basketball.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how upset do you think LeBron was behind the scenes there? When he
couldn't have been that happy because I think that's just another reminder that, you might believe you are, but most other people don't.
Well, you saw the quote from, I think it was Rich Paul. It was like, well, LeBron and Jordan both had very difficult roads, and he was comparing those two guys. And I went on a rant on my show, the overnight show. I was ranting about that because, like, Jordan, the fact that he rose up, it was obviously a different time. It's much different when LeBron came on the scene in the 2000s than as opposed to Jordan back in the early 80s. Late, he played high school ball in the 70s and the 80s and whatnot, and working his way up. But it's not anywhere the same. Michael Jordan is this whole Nike Jordan relationship and where that's at with the Jordan brand. That's like totally next level. But Jordan, the other thing, I'm going to talk about the dunk contest later, but Jordan, that really rose him up the ranks, the dunk contest.
No doubt. He did it 3 times, Ben, and you're right. There's no doubt about it.
I remember watching that. We'll get into that later. But as far as LeBron, just in general here, now, me and you share a same disdain for the Lakers in many ways here. I think we do. We're on the same page on that. But the word is LeBron is already behind the scenes looking elsewhere. He's got a wandering eye. And the Lakers have a losing record right now. The roster is broken, it would appear. And so if the tea leaves are right here, and I am a distant relative of Nostradamus and I'm a friend of Nostradamus. So
is that right?
Yes. Nostradamus lives in Seattle, actually. I met him at an appearance a couple years ago. So if LeBron has 2.5 months to go, because the NBA got the rest of February, which is actually not even a half a month. There's only a few days left.
It's like 7 weeks left of the regular season.
So 7 weeks as a Laker. And then he's going to strong-arm his way, because he's under contract next year, so he has to be traded. He's got another year on his contract. And we've seen this before, Rob. We saw when the roster, he realized in Cleveland that things weren't going the right way there the first time. He ended up hitting the eject button and went to Miami. And then when the Heat roster got a little long in the tooth and he saw that wasn't going the direction he wanted, he took off from there, went back to Cleveland because they got Kyrie Irving and they traded for Kevin Love at his behest and all that. So this Laker roster that I believe he's put together, I think he's the one at the puppet master behind the scenes here, it is deficient. So he's looking around here. And so if this is it, and this Laker team's not winning anything this year, what letter grade would you give LeBron James for his tenure? Because I'll go first. I would give him a D-. He's in year 4.
A D-, even with the championship. You are
bogus championship, bogus championship, bogus championship. Mickey Mouse in the bubble. That's the only way he was going to win with the Lakers, and nobody saw that coming, obviously. Who sees a pandemic coming? They had 4 months off. 4 months for LeBron to rest, but more importantly, for Anthony Davis, the very brittle big man for the Lakers to rest up. And unless there's another 4-month gap before the NBA playoffs this year, they're not winning anything. So I give him a D-. What would you give him, Rob?
I would say a C. I'm not going to poo-poo the championship, even though I get it. The bubble championship, the trophy had Mickey Mouse ears on it, but it counts, right? He has 4 championships. But when you really look at the first year, if you remember, everybody
they were in the lottery. Year 1, they were a lottery team. They had a losing record.
Right, they didn't make the playoffs.
And also remember, Rob. Remember when he came to the Lakers, they had sucked for years. The Lakers, they had all those number 2 picks, and they had all these.
Right, they hadn't made the playoffs 5 straight years, and then LeBron came, and then they didn't make the playoffs again.
Yeah, and he thought. But I'm convinced LeBron thought he was going to be able to play with those young guys when he got there.
He did.
And it didn't work out. It just didn't click. And so they were in the lottery. Then they won the bogus, I call it bogus, Mickey Mouse championship because they had 4 months off and they played in Orlando.
That did help.
No fans.
That did help both of those guys, like health-wise. And Anthony Davis played great in the bubble. He did.
He played wonderful.
He played great.
No fans. No, Rob covering the NBA, right? You go on the road in a big game 6, game 7. Crowds going nuts against you. It's a hostile environment. You had none of that at the resort in Orlando. And then this year, the Lakers, or last year, year 3, they were a first-round elimination by the Suns, the Lakers, in the playoffs. And now they have a losing record this year.
Yeah,
we're 70%
I would definitely
in.
say it's a C, not clearly nearly what people had anticipated or hoped. As GM, an F. I mean, he's put together, I call him the Dr. Frankenstein of the NBA because he's put this monster together. Everybody and their Uncle Ben, very nice. Everybody and their uncle knew that Westbrook wasn't a fit. Everybody knew it. Everybody. Buddy Hield was a better fit, and he didn't have a big enough name, right, to play in L.A. and people to be jacked up about them getting him. And this should come as no surprise that this doesn't fit. And then when you're top heavy and you pay the 3 guys, the money you're paying, you have no depth, you have an older team, and if anything goes wrong, like injuries or whatever, you're screwed. And that's where we are. Even with the numbers LeBron's putting up this year, they don't impact winning, Ben.
Yeah.
He can score 30 points, 39 and 8, and they lose.
Well, he does have a little Brady vibe to him, though, as far as his individual numbers this year. Because the stats, if you're just a stat guy,
right,
then you're like, oh, you can't rip LeBron. His stats are amazing. At his age, they are. What happened when we were kids, Rob? But these guys would get old, they would stink. As they got older, and these last couple of years,
what's in the water? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't know what's going on. But Tom Brady and LeBron, I mean, these guys, are continuing to dominate, statistically anyway, in their older age.